I have absolutely no idea. Nobody does. Not even the BeamNG devs know when their own game will be finished. But then, what's the point of this video you just watched 2 unscapable ads for? Well, today, I'll attempt to make an educated guess on BeamNG's potential release date, based on previous updates, confirmed upcoming features, and a bit of speculation. And I also want you guys to make a guess, which is why I've made this poll on my YouTube channel's community tab. So take into consideration all the stuff I'm about to show you, and then go vote right before I make my guess. So when BeamNG releases, we find out who made the better estimate and gets to keep both of their balls. But before talking so surely about when BeamNG is going to release, we should first talk about if BeamNG is going to release. Because it has been almost 10 years since it's been available on Steam, and it's still in alpha. To the uneducated, this sounds absolutely horrible. But if you look at the sheer amount of progress that has been made in just the past 5 years, you realize that we are in fact getting closer and closer to a potential release. I hope. Now, I'm still gonna say potential release throughout this entire video because, I mean, you never know what could happen. Maybe the entire BeamNG dev team wakes up one day and collectively decides they want to permanently abandon BeamNG's development to work on the next generation of simulated banana dynamics. But even if that were the case, I'd still be completely happy with what BeamNG is today. Despite all of its flaws and missing features, there is still nothing else quite like it. The insane physics, the crazy attention to detail, and the amazing community have kept me playing this game ever since I begged my mum to buy it for me way back in December of 2016. Fuck, I'm getting old. That's almost 8 years of not touching grass. Anyways, I think BeamNG's development coming to an end today is rather unlikely. And I'm pretty sure the devs are working on the game with the goal of it one day being released in a complete state. And so let's begin with the release date estimation by determining what exactly BeamNG is missing to be, in a complete state. Starting with the confirmed features, there's obviously the big ones like Vulkan and career mode, but there's also a ton of little things here and there that are also a work in progress. For example, there's virtual reality, which, by the way, on their website is still listed as being highly experimental. Now that I think about it, it's been quite a while since I haven't, put the thing on. So like this video if you want to see me suffer again in BeamNG VR. Then there's also the much needed user interface rework, which began in 0.32, and which unfortunately still seems far from being finished. On top of that, there's also the livery editor, more configurations for the MD series, and a bunch of, why am I still counting? And a bunch of other small features which we know are still being worked on. Now as for Vulkan, it has finally reached beta in 0.33, and the devs are now using it for its development, which is super sick. And ever since I was given access to the update, I've been doing the same thing, and I've only gotten one crash and this weird license plate bug. But yeah, overall, it's been great for me. Though I did take a look at the forums, and it seems like it hasn't been as smooth for others, especially when running older graphics cards. So taking that into consideration, I think Vulkan becoming the default graphics API is still at least a year or maybe even 2 away. And finally, there's the big one. Career mode, of which I know absolutely nothing. No, seriously, I played it once like a year ago and decided to never touch it again until it's finally complete. And even though it's literally part of my job to report stuff about BeamNG updates, I still avoid it while reading the patch notes. And I think you should do the same. Why, you wonder? Well, for me, it mostly comes down to personal enjoyment. I want to experience it in the way the devs meant for it to be experienced, which is not what it is now. So yeah, I have no idea how quickly career mode is evolving, but it's safe to assume that it'll be one of the very last things the devs work on before finishing the game. Now those were the confirmed features, but before moving on to BeamNG's update history, we also need to consider the unconfirmed ones too. The BeamNG devs have always preferred silently working on cool stuff and then releasing it once it's ready, which is basically the opposite of what everyone else is doing today, and I'm all for it. That being said, there have been a few rumors here and there. For example, judging by this thread on the forums, the replay system is almost certainly being worked on. Also, the brand new showreel features some new Miramar content, which could mean a refresh is around the corner. And finally, this most recent teaser Tuesday leads me to believe that we may soon have a lot more cars parked around. And these were just a few of the many features we kinda, maybe, know are coming. And finally, there's the tinfoil hat stuff. I'm talking things like official multiplayer and tire thermals, which are extremely hard to pull off. There has been a lot of speculation about these features throughout the years, and rightfully so, because they would be complete game changers. Though I don't think the devs have ever mentioned whether they're working on them or not. And for good reason. There is no doubt that having an extremely passionate community like BeamNG's is a blessing, but it can also be a curse. Sometimes people get a little too passionate, and if you start making promises and then fail to deliver on them, it doesn't go well. So devs, please continue doing your thing in silence. Also because, I don't know about you, but I am a sucker for surprises. Just like this merch. Oh! I actually fucking popped a joint. Only 39 more days, and they're gone forever. And so having established a good chunk of the confirmed and unconfirmed features, let's take a quick look at the entire history of BeamNG updates before finally making our guesses. Some guy called FewEffective1311 from the BeamNG subreddit made this neat little graph, which tracks every major BeamNG update from 0.3 to 0.32. And as you can see, ever since 0.6, released in 2016, we've been getting between 3 and 4 major updates per year. Which, by the way, is absolutely... I can take this off now. What am I doing? What the f happened to my hair? No. Also, what the f is this? New male pattern baldness just dropped? What the f? Anyways, as I was saying, $20 and all the updates, all the frigging updates have been completely free. Now looking back at the chart, if we consider updates between 0.6 and 0.32, we find that we get a major update roughly every 100 days. Though this information is kinda misleading, because even though we get an update every 3 or 4 months, some of them actually take years to make, such as 0.27. So with all that in mind, it is finally time to guess. If you want to, go vote right now at the poll in the community tab, which you can find linked in the description, alongside my merch. So, as for my guess, this is actually hard. 2029. But what then? What happens after BeamNG comes out? Do the updates stop? Do the devs make another game? It sounds weird, but what I do hope BeamNG one day gets released, I also wish the devs don't see it as being complete and keep working on the game. But who really knows? Which is why the best thing we can all do is not only look forward to BeamNG's release, but also enjoy the journey towards it.